and we did that.
Now let me now keep an open mind, because you're from the Bronx, right? And I want you to keep an open mind, right? Because I know, just like the whole Jamaican and the whole Puerto Rican thing, right? There's this whole thing about the Bronx, right? Now, let me just ask you this as a intelligent person. Do you believe it's possible that at that time in the New York City area, if you were tapped into a certain frequency, a certain vibration that was going on in the 70s amongst Black American youth, that y'all might have been doing similar things in similar areas without even knowing it?
How we know about that? Because we was gang busting.
Right.
We were gang busting. And we went on every edge of the Bronx.
And you already admitted yourself, right? Bronxdale was a very closed off place. You couldn't just come up in there. Bronxdale wasn't the only place like that. A lot of places was very closed off. You understand? So by it being closed off, you're closed off also to what's going on outside of that.
You know why you say that? Because you don't think niggas was all over the place. You just think we was here. I told you, man, we was ahead of our time. I was in Brooklyn. Listen.
Right.
Listen.
Right.
I told you, they called us the original little rascals, man.
Right.
Yo, we was everywhere. Look, you don't even see it coming. Look, it blindsides you.
Right.
Like I told you, it'll blindside you.
Right.
Right? That's hip-hop. It'll blindside you because you don't know how big it is. It's too big for all of us. It's big. That's why that shit is a multi-million-dollar industry. This is something that came from somewhere we don't even know about, bro.
Came from the Spades.
This shit came from somewhere, right? And they didn't even know.
There we go. Hip-hop was the abandoned child by the Black Spades.
There it is.
Hip-hop was the abandoned child by the Black Spades.
And we became the fucking, what you would call that, Mike? The adopted kids or something? The adopted bandit, the mother, because we was the kids, the real kids of it. So we was, like the bastard child?
Bastards?
Yeah, of them?
Nah, it's not a bad. We abandoned child. Hip-hop as a whole was the abandoned child of the Black Spades.
There you go.
The graffiti on the wall.
And all that.
That was the Spades doing
all
that.
That.
You know what I'm saying? They was the first one. You know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about Lord JAMAR. He said so. He had a theory.
Yeah.
He said he had a theory that shout out Lord JAMAR.
Shout out.
You know what I'm saying? I say Lord JAMAR and
to all of y'all, man.
Right. And Tariq. Right. And Tariq Nasheed. As far as I'm concerned, they taking the baton and they taking it to another level. You know what I'm saying? So
hip hop attitude.
Right.
I told you, it's gonna keep displaying itself.
Right. Shout out Lord JAMAR. Right? No, but listen, he had a theory because him and FaZe was talking.
Yeah.
So he was in a way it sounded like he was trying to.
Bronxdale wasn't the only place like that. A lot of places was very closed off. You understand?
But he was trying to compare it. He was trying to say other areas, other communities around New York City also had a closed-in environment. You know how y'all say we had a closed-in environment. The Spades wasn't letting nobody in. And he was trying to say, well, we was doing that in New Rochelle. They was doing that in other parts of the city. And my thing to Lord JAMAR would be, what years are you talking about?
Listen, Lord JAMAR, see, you know why you say that? And I got love for you, Lord JAMAR. And I'm not disputing you. That's your thing.
Right.
That's your era. You know why you say that? Because you don't think niggas was all over the place. You just think we was here. I told you, man, we was ahead of our time. I was in Brooklyn. Listen.
Right.
Listen.
Right.
I told you, they called us the original little rascals, man.
Right.
Yo, we was everywhere. And you say, because we kids. What that got to do with anything? Kids is jumping off the porch today at 6 years old. What is you talking about? Why that got anything to do with it? Because I'm 6, I can't get on the train. If I got the knowledge to do it, I could do it. You guard body, so you should know. Once you got knowledge yourself and know how to do something, you don't need nobody to tell you no more. If I know how to walk to that train, get on that train, my mom put us on trains and we was 5, 6 years old.
So when you was traveling, was it other areas that was closed off?
I was out in BK, man.
Well, but even then you went later, right? You went to BK after.
You know when I was in BK? Yeah.
Yeah, after you got out of prison, right?
When I was in BK.
79,
no,
78,
79.
79.
Right, I was in BK.
Right.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. What is hip-hop? Attitude, behavior.
Right.
OJs. Y'all forgot about the OJs.
Okay.
Hip-hop is OJs.
Okay.
Jumping in cabs. Hip-hop is this. Hip-hop is this.
And the hip-hop cologne was Royal Bane D Champagne. It was cats in Bronx there who was getting money. They was going to Pap Up, stealing, dipping, and jostling Green Eye Genie and the rest of them.
This is hip-hop.
Champagne cologne.
Yeah, this is hip-hop.
Yeah, you still rocking that?
Yeah, y'all wasn't even wearing this in Brooklyn. Y'all know that. Y'all wasn't wearing. I can tell you about Brooklyn. I was out there.
Yeah.
Y'all used to have black pearl cabs. Y'all big fucking fat. We used to start coming out in Brooklyn with OJs, you know.
OJs.
Yeah, I used to come in bad style. Right on Tompkins and motherfucking Jefferson. I mean Jefferson and Marcy. Anybody tell you that? I was running with and all of them. Yeah, ask and them. Yeah, ask all of them. Homo. Ask fucking all of them. Yeah. Brooklyn, no. Don't let me go to my Brooklyn dudes. For real. You don't want me to go to my Brooklyn dudes.
Hold on. This is
yeah.
This is
my
79,
Brooklyn
80 though. This is later. 79, 80.
Yeah, I know. But if you was doing it before, why would you do it?
So you saying even that time they still wasn't doing it?
They was wearing. Listen.
They still wasn't
fly.
doing it.
They used to just wear a lot of jewelry.
Okay.
They wear jewelry. They used to wear like London fall coats.
Okay.
With derbies.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? They mostly dress code was from Jamaicans. I know. I was there. I used to come out there with ballies and all that shit. Not saying that it couldn't have been going on in East New York, but I know Born Magnetic and all of them. Born Magnetic could tell you. Yeah, ask Born Magnetic. Homeboy's brother. Yeah, he was involved with me. Yeah, I know all of them. I know. Listen, if was here, he'll tell you. Yeah, they used to run with Noah's. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't know out there like I knew, but I was fucking with before he was.
Alright.
Yeah, all of them, and they know it. And my Brooklyn dudes, Bogart, all of them, they'll tell you. Say, oh, that's Karate Black right there. They know from Rikers Island. Yeah, they know Blue Boy. All of them know. Yeah. So I was out there. I was out there in 79. I'm not saying y'all wasn't dressing. I'm not saying y'all wasn't, y'all had the big. But remember we should be on 42nd Street throwing garbage cans through the window.
What were some differences between Bronx and Brooklyn, you would say?
Bronx was basically
Bronx hip-hop compared to Brooklyn.
And Brooklyn hip-hop. Brooklyn had hip-hop on the jury.
Okay.
I ain't going more.
Okay.
Brooklyn had hip-hop, yeah. Brooklyn always. And the gunplay.
Okay.
We had the gunplay, but we wasn't gunning it like Brooklyn.
1974 to 1980, political violence was common in Jamaica, and the political war was a long-standing feud between the Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party. Both parties have fought control of the island for years. Citizens were so motivated by the rivalry that it divided the nation and caused a civil war in Kingston.
Yeah, I ain't going to hold you. And my Brooklyn dudes will tell you that.
What is it? They had bigger guns or automatic guns first?
They release was crazy. They release was crazy.
Yeah?
They had no area what they released.
What do you mean no area?
In 1978, political violence was so widespread in Jamrock that a One Love Peace concert was organized as a means to bring the country together and to use reggae music as a uniting factor. During Bob Marley's performance, he called both Manley and Siaga to the stage. The three held up their hands together to signify their unity. Unfortunately, the event did little to quell the political violence. The event's two organizers were both killed within 2 years after the concert. The 9th election in Jamaica's history was unlike any in its past. The stakes were higher, the world was watching, and there were more guns. Throughout the 70s and the 80s, thousands were murdered due to political violence, and there was even a massacre of JLP supporters by official Jamaican soldiers. So, I want to know this. Who ordered the massacre upon the JLP supporters? Why we never learn about these atrocities in a school, and what the heck? What have to talk about this?
They had no area with their religion.
What do you mean no area?
Like when we hesitate, you know, we try to think about before we just gun you down. I'm Brooklyn.
Mm.
And they shiesty dirty.
Was these a lot of Caribbeans you was coming in contact with?
Yo,
Do you know if they was Caribbeans?
That know me, I'm telling you the truth. Grimy, shiesty, backdoor you, all that. Don't give a fuck. They had no give a fuck attitude. They didn't have, but a lot of things that when I got to Brooklyn, and I'm not disrespecting Brooklyn because I can't, because I come from Brooklyn too. My father raised me in Brooklyn, and on Franklin Avenue, Franklin and Notion, up in Bed-Stuy. Yeah, y'all don't know that. So, Lord Rick, you didn't know that, right? Yeah, we used to be out in Brooklyn. Crazy. Me and my brother. Yeah, my father lived out in Brooklyn all his life. Yeah, we had to be out there. But we used to go back and forth, Bronx and Brooklyn, because my mom's lived in the Bronx. So we had to. They did a lot of the message. The 6-step. Love it.
Okay.
Love. They did a lot of the 6-step when I came. Now, before I came, like I told you, if I wasn't there, I can't.
Okay.
But when I got out there, Brooklyn was doing a lot of the 6-step.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Love is the message type of thing and all that.
Okay.
Flowers was out. That's why I know about Flowers. I used to go, yeah. I used to go to the zoo, fellas. Yeah. Y'all know where the zoo at. Y'all know what that's about. Right there on Nostrand Avenue. Yeah. Fulton and Nostrand, right up the hill. Look, right up the hill. Yeah, y'all know I know about that. Yeah. I was in those clubs. Yeah, I was in the zoo. Yeah. If Lil Dow was here, he'll tell you that. Hamo, he'll tell you that. I used to be in the zoo with Hamo. Yeah, So I'm just letting you know. It wasn't I was just here. No.
By it being closed off, you're closed off also to what's going on outside of that.
No.
All right.
All right, I'm just letting them know.
So look, as far as Lord JAMAR,
yeah,
because you went somewhere else.
I'm just telling about Lord JAMAR, because I know about what you're saying. He's saying
his theory.
You're closed off also to what's going on outside of that.
A lot of people didn't go places to know.
Right, but listen, he's talking about, well, look, right. Now, but you talking about a different era. What I'm saying, because he's trying to say, I guess he was trying to say, because the Spades, right, earlier than that, the Spades had it on lock. They had the community on lock. So, I guess he's trying to say it was like that. Wait a minute. He's trying to say it was like that in different places, and he even said Nouveau Shell. So the only thing I would say to Lord JAMAR is show and prove. Show us these elders, these African American elders or Black American elders that had their community on lock before the Spades. We're going back to Martin Luther King getting assassinated. We're going back to when Martin Luther King got assassinated. We're talking about 1968 through 1970. Who was these African Americans that was regulating their community before the Black Spades? So according to like the Spades, like even Fat Mike, I go with what Fat Mike said. He said, how do we know?
They ain't even heard nothing about on the South Bronx. They playing music, they playing this, they playing that. Cause how we know about that? Cause we was gang busting.
Right.
We were gang busting. And we went on every edge of the Bronx.
We know, Fat Mike said, how do we know hip-hop was going on in the South Bronx and over here and over there? Because we was gang busted. We was going everywhere. The Spades was going everywhere.
Remember, I told you that in the beginning. When you first did that, I said we used to be everywhere.
Right, the Spades was going everywhere. They was young teenagers. Man. So they would know what's going
Why
on
you
in
think
different
it got
areas.
so big?
Right, and that's my point. See, look, from my understanding, it wasn't like that in African American communities. Going back to the 1960s, African Americans wasn't the types to say, you can't come in our neighborhood. If anything, that was Caucasians doing that. Caucasians was regulating their
They was
neighborhoods and
that's
telling
why I
us
said,
not to come in
listen,
their neighborhoods.
That's why I said we couldn't go to Parkchester.
Right.
We couldn't go here.
Right.
Listen, even the Spanish
Right.
shut us down. We couldn't go to Watson.
Right.
That was basically Spanish.
So when you talk about different parts of the city like Brooklyn and Queens and Harlem, African American people wasn't regulating their areas like that.
Now, only thing
You know what
I
I'm
can say
saying?
about that, Mike, is the town halls.
Okay,
Now,
but that was after the
but that was
Spades.
after,
That was after the
that's what I'm saying,
Spades.
after.
And that's what I'm saying. A lot of areas that he probably talking about,
Right.
Lord JAMAR probably talking about a lot of areas that Spades was at. He probably talking about
don't even know.
he probably don't even know,
Probably
right?
don't even
It
know.
probably was Spades in New Rochelle,
I told you.
different divisions
We
that was regulating New Rochelle
what I told
that
you.
he don't even
Right,
don't know
that's
about.
why I told you we was at our town.
Right.
We was places, man.
Right,
We didn't stay in this projects, man.
right,
We even though you couldn't come in there, you forgot we could come out of there.
right. Right. Would you say like everybody came to the Dale? Everybody Dale was like the spot where everybody came to?
Everybody couldn't come to the Dale, but
Right.
the Dale came to everybody. Everybody couldn't come to the Dale, but
Right.
the Dale came to everybody. The Dale came to everybody.
Yeah,
You act like we just
Right,
stayed in there.
right.
Like we was just hiding.
Right.
We're the ones who started that shit. Rebellion.
Right.
So what
Exactly.
do you think? We wasn't
Exactly.
coming out?
Right,
We the
exactly.
ones who went up there and opened up the door
Right.
for niggas to go there. We was the one that went over there and opened up the door.
Right.
We went.
Exactly.
We went.
That's the
all these
point.
points.
That's
That's
the point.
open
Right.
to this day.
Right.
Right? It's open to this day. You gotta give it to the Spades.
Right. And if Lord JAMAR disagreed, and we actually show and prove, bring the elders that say, yeah, we had our community on smash.
Yeah, like,
we wasn't allowing
I
people
wanna
in.
know-
We stopped the black spades from coming in.
Yeah.
Other than the guard body, now it was guard body, but
I
even the
told
guard
you.
bodies, I don't know them to
Guards.
be regulating their
Guards.
neighborhoods. Like you
Guards.
can't come in.
This building over in Cyprus before I left.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
The
Building.
guard, Nation of Guards on Earth.
Yeah, but
they was
that-
on Cyprus.
Yeah, they was building.
Was they
it.
stopping people from
No,
coming to Cyprus?
That was Spanish territory.
Right.
That was all Spanish.
Okay.
It was just like how they was here with us, little specks. We was little specks.
Specs,
over there.
exactly.
I tell you, just
Right.
like that. We were specks to them.
Right, we
We
respect
was
them,
the
right.
minority.
Yeah.
They
Yo,
was
I
the
heard,
majority.
I heard Black Rob say that about Spanish.
On Cyprus, they was trying to make me and my brother bachelors. Bachelors was Puerto Ricans, all Puerto Ricans at the time. They wanted, because I told you we was off the hook. So you know when you get dudes off the hook from the street, they want to, pull you in. But we left. Now who knows what would have happened if we would have stayed?
Yeah.
We might have would have been a bachelor. Who knows? With my brother, I don't know. When we got over here, we was a spectacle to them. We was like we migrated over there. Like, you know what I mean? That was their spot. They ran that. South Bronx, that was run by Spanish. And anybody try to tell me anything like I was there. Young Lords, Bachelors, Savage Lords, all kinds of Japanese.
And I wish you was old enough, though. I would ask you, because I wish you was old enough to know what was their music. What was it, a hip hop style? Was it a drum? Spanish,
Bongo.
bongos? Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. It wasn't no hip hop thing.
Hip hop.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
Yo.
Was it big on James Brown over there? Was Puerto Ricans listening to James Brown?
Told you we was in our house listening to that shit.
You was in your apartment, right?
We was in
Right.
We wouldn't even bring that shit out. Listen.
Beekman, shout out
Yo,
to Beekman.
We were on Beekman and Cypress and all that. Say that on 38th Street. I'm right in the mix. That's the inner circle of the South Bronx.
Beekman is right there.
I grew up right there.
Right.
It was no hip hop, none of that going on. It was gang culture.
Yeah.
Spanish gang
And I think
culture.
they was deep into rock.
And they was into
Rock.
they was into they Spanish
Uh-huh.
bongos.
Spong, yeah, okay.
I do-
That's
do-
their
do- do-
culture.
doop,
Right.
doop, doop, doop. That's it.
Right.
All that. And you see them doing the Spanish thing.
Right.
That's all.
Right.
No up rocking, it was the Spanish thing. That's how they did. And they know it. Yeah. And we was the outer crowd. We was watching from the outside. Oh shit, look at that. That's,
Yeah.
they the ones who taught us how to play paddleball.
Okay.
That's their thing.
Yeah, that was their thing. Handball.
That's how I learned.
Handball, yeah.
That's all they used to play over there.
Yeah.
It's handball.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all they used to play. It's handball. Yo, man. Yo, Blacko, come on. What? Come. I want you to be my partner. I don't know how to fuck with this. Come on, don't mind. And that was it. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Yo, that, they marching. Young Lords used to march over there.
Yeah.
You know, young lords, party. Here we go. That's all they was doing.
Right, so back to the JAMAR theory, what I'm saying is, that'd be a good thing. Was the young lords regulating their neighborhood like you can't come in?
Now,
Who was regulating their neighborhoods before the Spades?
Well, it couldn't have been just the young lord because you had bachelors there, you had javelins there,
Right.
you had all kinds
Well,
of.
I'm talking about as far as African-American movements.
Oh no, that was
African-American movement,
No.
you know that was Spanish, but
no, lords. We didn't have no black people over there.
African-American movements, what African-American community was regulating their community before the Black Spades
Only one
in
time-
New York City?
Listen, only ones I knew that did that at that time, the Black Panthers. They the ones who.
But they wasn't stopping people from coming in.
Regulate. I'm talking about fighting the
Right,
rebellion.
yeah.
It was the Black Panthers.
Right.
I'm talking about the black situation.
Yeah,
I mean, kings and queens situation.
right,
The Muslims,
right.
right? The guards,
You talking about movements.
movement.
Right,
And the only how they because black, remember, Black Spades was a gang in the beginning.
right,
It was an organization.
right,
And the Black Spades.
right. And the Black Spades was the first
First to
to
shut
rope
people.
off their community,
Rope it off.
do not enter type
Can't
of
come
thing.
in.
Right,
It wasn't like that.
Right.
Right. If it
Exactly.
was like that somewhere else, it was Italians, Jews,
there you go.
Guineas, what's that other culture that they got? Germans,
Right,
because they had Germans, all up in like when you going towards Pelham Parkway and all.
okay,
Yeah, that they started to become Germans over there.
okay.
The real Germans. I got jumped over there.
Oh,
Yeah, we almost got killed in Pelham Parkway for being up
yeah?
there. What? Niggas had my face was this big.
Who was you with?
I was with me, Diamond D, Jeff to
The
the left.
Rascals?
Yeah, the Little Rascals, all of us. We was up there. I told you we used to be everywhere. And it's a fact. We went up there because we was jostling at the time. That's why I told you jostling. We was jostling. We went up there. That's when they had OTB spots. Anybody know about that's horse racing. We used to go up in there and jostle. They caught my man jostling. We came out of the OTB spot. They had bats, poles, and everything. They tried to kill us. I ran in front of a police car. I stopped them like that. I said, either you gonna kill me or they gonna kill me. It's gonna be one or the other. But we can't do this. They gonna kill us. And the police dog stopped in front of me. I fell on the hood, and when they picked me up, they said, oh shit, my whole face was like that. They hit me in the face with a pipe. Boom! Yeah. Yeah. You couldn't go up in those spots.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
You couldn't go up in those spots and
Right.
think you gonna regulate.
But
Nah.
these was Caucasians. So that's our point to Lord Jamal. We don't know of any
those
African
was
Americans.
Caucasians.
We don't know of any African Americans that was
Nah,
controlling
that
their
time.
environment, regulating. So, you know what I'm saying? The Black Space was the first to give it to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Let them
stop-
have that. You know
stop
what I'm saying?
taking
So I'm
things.
trying to take people in denial. That's what it is.
Yeah.
People just
You
can't.
know why?
You know what I'm
'Cause
saying?
listen,
Hip hop started in Bronx there with the
let me tell
spades,
you
yo, the
something.
Mario and the
I
spades.
want to tell you a lot of things why a lot of people try to dispute Bronx stuff. You know,
Why?
I'll give you the history. Because when we left, Bronx still got soft. in a lot of people's eyes, not ours.
Yeah.
In a lot of people's eyes.
But yeah,
Because a lot of us was gone. 70, like in the late 70s.
Late 70s, in the 80s, early 80s.
A lot of
early
us
80s.
was gone.
That's when the city turned up. The whole city, New York City, turned up.
So a lot of people that would walk in our projects and could do that,
right?
They never had the experience.
Yeah.
So now that, not the point that they were soft, it died down.
Yeah.
The power left.
Yeah.
And it went to Bronx River.
There you go.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
The power of Bronxdale left, and Bronx River and Soundview took it.
Right.
So now the people that's there at that time, they looking at Bronxdale like, they ain't saying
Bronx
that.
River became the Mecca.
Yeah, they became the Mecca.
Center, the Bronx River Center.
But before Bronx River, it was us.
Right.
But you had to
But people don't know that
because
they wasn't around.
To know
and again, we talking right after the Martin Luther King assassination. We talking about late 60s, early 70s.
Cause I remember I was up north. Right? And I'm not grew up. I'm just telling you something happened. And we in the day, this kid comes up there. So they talking about the Bronx. He from the Bronx. Where you from? He said Monroe. To us, Monroe was soft. When we was here.
Yeah.
Just think about it. Look, to us, Monroe was soft. To us, everything was soft.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Everybody was soft. To us, all this area was soft. To us, because we the ones who put it in effect.
Right.
We the ones who
started the whole thing.
Shutting shit down.
Yeah.
So if you wasn't shutting shit down, nigga, you wasn't.
Yeah.
We ain't shutting. Listen, we ain't shutting just a crew down. We shutting down racism. Nigga, you better know we about it.
Right.
We fighting motherfuckers.
Fighting the Caucasians in your buildings. In your block that's beating you up.
Right, that's beating
the Caucasians that's beating you up.
Somebody saw.
Right.
Yo, you serious?
Right.
You wasn't there.
Right.
So now the spades break off. We get crews. Right. Now the only crew, right, that's from Bronxdale, the crew. Now we ain't talking about just Bronxdale the whole like we was when we was all spades. We talking about crew. It's the Chuck City crew. That's the only main crew that came out of Bronxdale. If they had more crews, I didn't know about it.
Okay.
But the major crew. So now, Mario is going all over. He doing what he's doing now. So now, the other projects is formulated. Right? They getting hard. Right? We done did hard.
Right.
We done did stand up 10 toes.
Right.
See, like I keep telling you, everything that y'all did, we did already.
Right.
Before y'all got there.
Right.
We already did that, breakdance and all that. Remember, this shit was going on before y'all got there.
Right.
So now when y'all come, y'all don't see none of this.
Right.
Y'all don't know nothing. You got dudes that just working now.
Yeah.
They trying to get their lives together because they bruised and battered from the wars we went through with racism.
Dudes on drugs.
Dudes went left. Dudes in jail. So now here come a up and coming crew.
Right.
Come through here, Bronxdale. So really,
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
But even so, I don't remember my growing up. I don't remember nobody coming through Bronxdale.
I'm just saying, this is what people would say. Because they can
There was
say
a couple of incidents, but I don't remember.
They can say it now
Yeah, they can
because
say
they
it.
know the danger is gone.
Right.
The power is gone.
But listen, what you saying, even in my generation, people were scared of Bronxdale because of the third section.
I'm telling you, man. We used to call it
because of the third section.
We called it the third.
Dudes were scared to walk through
I'm
Bronxdale.
telling
It's
you.
the truth.
Yo,
and I know for my generation.
Yo, and I'm not telling you. Listen, it just happened that way. I was just,
Third's the word.
Yo, third section was not to be fucked with, man. I don't know about, listen, the first section was dangerous. The second section was dangerous. Third section, son. Listen.
I think the first section was lively.
Nah. They had they
First section was lively.
Nah, but see, they had their time.
Third section.
Because most of the first section, remember, was the original Spade.
Right.
So they had their time.
Right.
right? Think about it. They had their time.
Right.
Now, who picks up after the Spades? The third section. The third section picked it up, and we
Okay.
took it to a whole different level, man.
Okay.
You couldn't come in there. Listen, man.
Okay.
You crazy if you thought that you could come up in there. If we got word, and I'm just saying, not just me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even put the dudes on Front Street like that, because I don't want them to. I don't want, Listen, man.
So listen, just the Lord JAMAR to put a cap on it. What years are you talking about that New Rochelle had these African American communities? What years? Because we talking about 68 through 75.
And maybe we could come
you know what
to
I'm saying?
some kind of
68 through 75.
If we find facts on it, we could come to some kind of conclusion.
Right.
It's like we all just trying to find facts with hip hop.
Right.
Because it's big. That's why it's still going on to this day about that.
Right.
About hip hop and all that. But listen, man, you talking about something salt, nothing was sweet about Bronx still, son. Listen, we were so with it, we didn't even have to rep it, man. I used to go to jail and they say, yo, you BlackJack, you from the third section, right? Who you? I'm thinking maybe it's this dude Nah, son, I heard a lot about that, man. Yeah? What you heard? Nah, man, that's a rumor. We used to denounce it. Nah, because we did so many shit. We didn't want to, you see what I'm saying? We didn't want to do that. But, you know, we moved on. So we didn't want to carry that. That's a hell of a weight to carry. The shit we was doing. See what I'm saying? We was putting it down. You couldn't live in third section unless you was about it, man. Yeah, I'm serious. Like, yo, my brother sparked that. He was the one that sparked that whole thing. I don't take credit for that. I give it to my brother. He sparked it. He made sure every nigga in that section was about it, man. He made us fight them dudes every fucking day, man. My brother come outside with his team, and we had to fight them dudes. And anybody that know, we used to have to fight them every day. Running through that motherfucker, fighting his whole team.
Wait, running through where?
The third section.
Who you had to fight?
Them.
Oh,
my
yeah?
brother's team. He was making us. You understand? He was building us up. No, y'all motherfuckers gonna hold this shit down. He was making sure. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was his thing. I don't know why. Maybe he seen something with the Spades afterwards. That he was like, nah, this is our projects. You know what I mean? Nah. Just because they gone, that don't mean nothing. And, you know, maybe he had that theory. I don't know what was his theory.
Yeah.
But that grew these gorillas.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Now, what's up with salsa? What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, yo, let me hold on.